some reels, both a bait caster style, casting reel and a spinning reel from the one reel I have, the spinning reel is from the 50s. The bait caster I have is from the 60s. Bait caster.
Oh, they're terrible. They're not refined at all like they are now. But imagine being that good back then with that equipment. Imagine how good he'd be with stuff now.
Yeah.
So like this guy was like apparently just like, a sniper with a fishing rod. And then you'll need to trigger the bite.
Mm-hmm.
And that hunting action where it'll just be, and it shoots off to the side, they just think it's a minnow swimming along, and all of a sudden, oh, it noticed I'm here, and it shoots off to the side to swim away, and the bass is like, nope,
Yep.
dead, So
And that's conjecture. We're trying to speak for the bass, and the bass isn't here to defend itself. We don't know exactly if that's what it's thinking.
Lawyers in court. But that hunting action, and that's what the difference is. Some people say, are more expensive chatterbaits worth the money? More expensive chatterbaits, in my opinion, and what I've heard from other people, and I found it myself, is they oftentimes hunt better.
Mm-hmm. Better hook, oftentimes.
Yep.
Tied skirt, so it's not losing its hair.
Yeah. But that hunting action is really perfected on the more pricier chatterbaits. You can still catch fish on a budget chatterbait, 100%, but you may get slightly better action out of a better one.
When someone hasn't tried a chatterbait, I go to your local tackle shop, get the original chatterbait. It still is like what, $7 and something cents,
$6.99.
Yeah. So for $7, you can get a chatterbait that works. It 100% works. That's the first one that I got, and I still have it. Is the original chatterbait.
I have a bunch of originals.
I love it. It works really good. It's still got a good hook. You can resharpen it. It's fine. And when you put a Z-Man trailer on it, you just little dab of super glue, and that trailer stays on forever.
Yeah. And if
I still have the same trailer on. It's its second year running now. Third year running now. On that one trailer.
And if a pike bites you off, you're out $7, not $20.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the reason we're going to go back to trailers. Why sometimes a trailer with less action, what seems like less. I've had people say, oh, I don't like the razor shads. They don't have any action. They do. Reel the chatterbait past you while you're fishing. You can see that thing whipping back and forth.
Look down on it from straight above. And you'll see that trailer whipping back and forth.
And a lot of the popular chatterbait trailers, like the Yamamoto Seiko, they're designed like that. They don't have a kicking tail. They just have a segmented body that goes with the natural action of the chatterbait and really helps that hunting action go. On the other side, and I agree with Andrew 100% on it, I fished with a guy, not Andrew, and his favorite trailer, and I cannot convince him otherwise, is a rage craw, or like a craw. And to me, like a craw, and the cool thing is, it doesn't have to be a steady retrieve. You can reel it and just feel it clicking down there, like with the blade, and then just kill it and let it sit on the bottom, and then just jerk your rod hard, and the thing will just pop off the bottom, just like a crayfish. You know when a crayfish is trying to escape, it pops off the bottom?
Yeah.
Plus you have the vibration of the blade whipping back and forth, and that, again, it's a reaction strike. Yeah. That's a really cool technique. And the last technique I'm going to tell you, it's a little bit of a secret. Andrew, don't listen. Ever try pitching a chatterbait around docks or wood? Forget it's a chatterbait. Pretend it's a jig with added vibration.
And I will say the Z-Man Cross Eyes is one of the weed guards.
Yes.
Or one with
metal
with the
weed
guard. And I really like that one because that is the one I use around timber.
Yes.
So
it's designed for that.
Yeah. So it's got a weed guard, but it's a timber guard.
Yes. And it works good.
Yeah.
But pitching regular chatterbaits without a weed guard around docks, to say there's like a deep dock or a deep lay down or just like holes in the weeds, pitch a chatterbait in there, and as it sinks, it's not going to vibrate as it sinks, but it's going to fall down. The trailer's going to give it action. But then when you jerk that thing up, it's like up and then it falls down again. It is something that bass have never seen.
Yeah.
Maybe they have around you, but like it's something that no one does.
Yeah. Well, think of a regular like flipping jig. A lot of them have these little like rattles, right?
Yep.
It's like, oh, it rattles. Like, really, like how much is it going to rattle if you pull it forward? It has like all the weight goes to the back of the rattle, and then it sinks. It goes to the front of the rattle.
Yeah.
It's not rattling a lot.
Yeah. Unless you're hopping it on the bottom.
Yeah. So now all of a sudden you have a chatterbait, and when you rip that, 100% you'll feel it on your rod. Like she said, it's like a small aircraft bent over.
Yeah,
like the whole time.
It's
so
a shock
so
absorber
much.
the whole time. Any surge, any jump, that line is going to be tight into the chatterbait.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's a heavier rod. Some guys are like, you know what? That rod is so heavy. And to give you an example of the weight
Heavy as
difference,
in literal weight.
yeah, so like a regular graphite rod, you're looking at probably like high 3 ounce to 4 ounce range. A glass rod that's similar is 6.5, 7 ounces. So like, it's a fair bit heavier.
Yeah.
Some people don't care. They're like, that's fine. I love glass. Some people are like, I cannot stand the extra weight. So it's really, you got to try it. And then the third rod that I bought was graphite rod that is built like a fiberglass rod. So I bought the St. Croix Victory. It's called the Rip and Chatter rod. It's a 7.2 heavy. It's not really heavy. It feels like a medium heavy. And it is a graphite rod. It's a heavy, but it loads. It's a slow action. Or not slow. It's a moderate action. So the rod bends like in half. But the differences between that and a glass rod is it's super light. It's like 3.6 or 3.7 ounces. The same rod in glass is like 2 ounces more. So that rod, I have a bunch of rods that do the exact same thing. I like to experiment, but that rod is a gem.
Yeah.
You can cast chatterbaits all day long, and the cool thing about glass and graphite rods that are slower is you don't really feel the bite, which sounds weird. So as you're reeling in a chatterbait, I'm bad for this. As soon as I feel like anything different, I'll just set the hook. So if I'm using a graphite rod with braid, and I feel that blade just, and all of a sudden it stops, it usually means that a fish has come up behind it. And what happens with bass is they create a vacuum, and sometimes that blade it'll stop as it's getting sucked back, and I'll think I have a fish on, and I just swing on it, and I pull it right out of the fish's mouth before it closes its mouth. So the cool thing about using some rod that has less feel, like a glass rod, is you can't feel that. It's dull the senses. They're not sensitive.
Yeah.
They're just, it dulls the sense.
You're not gonna be like, I won't feel it. Like, you'll feel the weight of a fish. You'll know when you have a fish still.
So you won't feel the fish grab it, but you'll just be reeling in. It's the coolest thing ever. And then all of a sudden your rod will just start loading.
Yep.
And then you just reel into it. And since chatterbait has an exposed hook that's razor sharp, that hook just goes right into you don't even have to set the hook. You just reel into the fish, and then boom,